What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for the day. Yesterday was Monday, very slow day on Monday. I actually focused a lot on some of the plays on Wednesday for League of Legends, and I'm going to be, I actually have a play for you guys for Wednesday morning League of Legends in today's video because I still think there's a lot of value. You guys see it on the screen. We did not have too great of a day yesterday. We only, really only like 4 things ended up actually happening, actually finishing. None of them ended up hitting. We ran through a lot of opposite correlation really with this one, and then this one should have been opposite correlation. This second game actually did go into overtime. This guy got 4 kills in the first game because it was a shorter game, and then the second game ended up going to overtime and he got 23 kills. So he still definitely went under barely, but he you guys can see, the first game, very short game, so this guy goes under kills. The second game was a very, very long game. I think it actually might have been into double overtime, and he gets 23 kills in that game. That was a longer match. So that's how Counter-Strike works. Longer game means more kills, shorter game means less kills. You guys saw yesterday we cashed a little bit on the Counter-Strike play with this and with CFL. And you guys know I'm very transparent on this channel. Even though we had not so great of a day yesterday, it was a slow day being Monday. And really last Monday, if you go back to last Monday's video, we actually cashed a 10x last Monday. So, that's why I always talk about the day-to-day stuff, right? We only really had 4 entries happen. And, sometimes you're going to cash like crazy on a Monday. Some days you're not, right? Some days you're going to cash like crazy on a weekend. Some days you're not, right? You need to understand that we have a winning strategy over the long term. If you don't believe me, I have a ton of graphs to back that up. I have a ton of data to back that up. Really the best graph to honestly show is this one right here, which was last year using this exact same strategy, which is called correlation. You guys actually see yesterday in CFL, we took 2 overs together, and the overs hit together because the more that someone is passing, the more yards that the receiver is going to get, right? So this guy got 130 receiving yards, and this guy got over 350, close to 350 passing yards, because the more passing yards, the more receiving yards. That is correlation, probably the easiest way to explain it. We do the same thing in Counter-Strike. We do the same thing in League of Legends. It ends up catching us out with days like this before. This was a day back in June. Had an amazing day like this, and you guys will see a lot of correlation here with the same things I'm talking about with League of Legends, with Canadian football. This is the same thing we do through the actual football season, the NFL and college football season. Went up 600 units last year doing it. So far this year, we're up about 200. I'll say like 235 because we've definitely had a couple of days in a row going down like 3 or 4 units. We're up about 235 units in 2025 so far. So that puts us on pace for a 500 unit year. And I'm telling you guys, once college football season hits, we have had a 350 unit year 2 years in a row, all right, which I know sounds crazy, but think about it. We're about halfway through the year. We're up about 250 units, let's just call it. And when we have so much volume like it is on college football season, the reason why it's so valuable is because if you think about a week of college football, there are like 50 games being played, all right? So even though I talk about Canadian football, and Canadian football is great, there's only like 5 games being played maybe on Canadian football, but think about that times almost 10 or 15 because you have all the NFL games being played. Plus, you have like 50 college football games being played from Wednesday all the way till Saturday night, right? You have so much value in college football. That's why I always talk about it. Obviously, maybe like a month away from college football, which is crazy because this summer's flying by. But you guys will see in July also done very well. That first week of July crushed it, did not have a losing day. In the second week of July, you guys will see we actually had a lot of red days, but these 2 massive days made up for it, right? So if we call this, let's just take a little bit of mental math here. Let's just call this 10 and let's call this 15. 10 plus 15, that would be 25. And then we have 8 right here, and then we have 10 right here. So let's call this 18, right? 10 plus 8 and then minus 1. So if you add up all these red days, that's 19. And then these green days are 25, right? It's actually like 25.5. But if you do 18 or 19 minus 25, that means we have a full actually green week, even though you see 5 out of 7 of the days were red days, right? So that's why, these big days are really the things that are going to really drive us up in some of the units. You guys will see over like 500 bets over the past 2 months, we're up 118 units. So like I said, I have a lot of statistics to back all this. Obviously, yesterday was not a great day. And as you guys know, on great days, on bad days, whatever it is, I'm going to come on here, show you guys the wins, the losses. And that is pretty much my job to do so. Decent entry yesterday. Honestly, Alana Smith just had an amazing first half. She got 5 rebounds in that first half, which is unfortunate. Would have loved her to go under there for us. Angel Reese, defensive rebounds, was honestly a great call. One of my subscribers actually kind of pushed me towards her defensive rebounds over her rebounds, and I don't think she hit her actual rebound line, but did hit her defensive rebound line. So great call there, honestly, and we might go back to it whenever she has different games throughout these different weeks. So let's get into the actual play of the day. I feel like we have a really good lineup today. So I will say it is Taco Tuesday today, and I already sent out that Counter-Strike one. So the first taco is already off the board. Whenever the second taco comes out, if you like it more than the WNBA entry, then just go ahead and take it in place of this WNBA entry, okay, guys? But for the first WNBA entry of the day, I actually do really like Alea Boston, either to go over her PRA, or really, if you really want to get nerdy, I really like her over first half fantasy score. All right, so if we look up Boston and look over her first half fantasy score, this is really what I like a little bit more than her PRA. Let me get into why I like that here. I have all these graphs set up. So again, if you want to just take her normal PRA, I do like this too. You guys will see she's very minute dependent, which I'm about to get into. But because she's minute dependent, she actually plays more minutes in the first half on average than in the entire game, because of a potential blowout that could happen, right? So blowouts could happen in the WNBA. We had the Fever versus the Sun. Fever are like a top 3 team. Sun is like a bottom 3 team at least, all right? So a blowout could happen, which could cause her to actually get taken out of the game in the second half, and that would kind of put some of this over PRA in jeopardy, right? She might get like 24 PRA and then never come back into the game with like 5 or 6 minutes left in the game. First, before I talk about her over first half fantasy score, which is really the play I like, you guys will see the Connecticut Sun, they are one of the worst defenses, if not the worst defense in the league. They are 13 out of 13 in points allowed, 13 out of 13 in rebounds allowed, and then 12 out of 13 in assists allowed, okay? So they're like worst points allowed, worst rebounds allowed, and second to worst assists allowed. If that doesn't put them in the worst defense category, I don't know what does. Again, the reason why I like this is her over fantasy score in the first half. So if we look over her past 10 games, bear with me here, but she is averaging 21. Let's just call it 21, right? It's actually 21.24, which every point percentage really matters in fantasy score, but let's just call it 21, right? She's averaging 21 fantasy score per first half, right? Every first half she's played, she averages 21, and she is averaging 16 minutes, all right? Her line right now is 16.5. So if you think about it, if she averages 16 minutes, if she gets 1 fantasy score per minute, that would put her at 16, right? And almost go over, right? So she averages 16.2. If every single minute she gets 1 fantasy score, that would put her at 16 or close to 16.5. What she is actually doing is she is averaging 21 over 16 minutes, all right? So she's actually getting like maybe 1.2 fantasy score per minute or something like that, which is massive, right? So over 16 minutes, she's averaging 21. If she just got around 1 fantasy score per minute, she would actually hit her line at about 16 to 16.5. So other than that, she is actually going way over this and getting way better than this. Now, she has gone under this in 2 of her last 3 games. Really, the reason here is she did play only like 3 less minutes here. And I do believe she had a pretty bad game of shooting or something like that. I actually don't know, because we're not going to be able to see this by first half. Maybe we will here. But yeah, she didn't have that many first half rebounds in some of these games. And if we look at first half points, it looks like this game she only got 4 points in the first half. And that was one of those games that she goes under here. So again, there's a little bit of risks here, of course. But if you look at it here in that first half fantasy score, you guys will see that most of the time she's going over. And what I really like, if you can find this in basketball consistently, where they're averaging 3, 4, 5 of a line higher than what the line is set versus their averages, you will win long term. This is the prime example of getting her averages way lower than it should be. Not only that, on top of it, she's facing the worst defense in the WNBA, right? So that's why I like Boston. She plays the whole first half pretty much, and it's just a really solid line to take, all right? So that's going to be the first play, fantasy score over for Boston. If you don't like this, if you just absolutely hate this, then you can just go ahead and pair up this League of Legends play with the taco of the day. Now, my favorite play of the day right here, as you guys know, League of Legends is the bread and butter. I feel like I'm the best League of Legends bettor on YouTube. There's really not that many League of Legends bettors on YouTube, but I just think we win a lot on League of Legends, and we probably have like a 70 to 75% hit rate. So this is going to be the play here. Driver, Junji, and Hong Q. okay? Over 5.5. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I like this line here, but the main reason, it's as simple as this, and this is why I love League of Legends betting so much, because it does not get any more simple than this, okay? We have 3 players, Driver, Junji, and HungQ, to go over 5.5. Now, let's look at their lines right here. We have someone at, let's just say at 2, we have someone at 3, right? So 2 plus 3, what is that, guys? That is 5, and then we have 5 plus 1.5. What is 5 plus 1.5? 6.5. So if you add up this guy, this guy, this guy, they add up to 6.5. So why are their lines 5.5 if you can take 3 of them to go over 5.5? It makes no sense whatsoever that this line is 1 whole kill lower than what these guys average is, all of these guys together, right? And I would actually rather take this line rather than any of these guys' single lines, because let's just say this guy has a game where he gets 5 kills. That's great, because he gets 5 kills, and now you can add him, and we just need Driver HungQ just to get 1 kill. Let's think about if HungQ gets 6 kills, then HungQ could get 6 kills, and these guys could get 0 kills combined, but it wouldn't matter because they would still go over, because it's the addition of all of these 3 guys combined. Now, I talked about HungQ getting 6 kills. He actually got 6 kills versus T1, which is the second best team in the world. He did that 3 out of 5 of the games that they played against each other. And then they also played Anyone's Legend, which is the number 3 team in the world. He did that 2 out of the 4 games they played. Not get 3 kills, not get 2 kills. He got 6 kills versus them. So he alone went over this line, just HungQ alone, all right? He went over this over 50% of the time versus AL, the 3rd best team in the world, and over 50% of the time versus the 2nd best team in the world, T1. Now you might ask, okay, what is HLE? They're actually like the number 4 and number 5 team in the world. So they're still really, really good, but they're not as good as T1 or AL. CFO is also a really solid team. They are top 10 themselves, all right? So we have a top 10 team versus like a top 5 team. CFO, I'm telling you guys, I've watched them a lot. They could take this game. They could win this game themselves. We don't even need them to win this game for them to go over 5.5. It's such a good line here, guys. Whatever the different WNBA play of the day is for the taco, you guys can also slot that in for Boston, or you could take it as a 3-man if you really want. But this is what I'm locking in, guys. That's going to go ahead and be the play of the day. If you guys do want to get my VIP for free, all you guys have to do is text me the word Bovada to my number right here on the screen, and I'll get you guys in for 2 months free. Make sure your state is one of these states in the blue, and that means Bovada is legal for you. You'll actually just deposit some money into Bovada, but I will pay you that money back, so it'll be completely free to you guys. Just text me to get those instructions. And if you guys want to get instructions for Chalkboard, if you guys want to get instructions for Better, I've been also pushing Novig, all right? So Novig, I don't have a map, but is actually legal in 42 out of 50 states. So it is one of those apps that is legal almost everywhere, and you guys can sign up for Novig and get an extra month free of the VIP. And I feel like a lot of you guys do not have Novig yet, just because it's kind of a lesser known app, all right? Make sure to text me first so I get you guys the right instructions. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it was a rough day yesterday, but as we start ramping up through the week, guys, you guys know we start winning, right? We start winning through these weekends, these Thursdays, these Fridays, these Saturdays. They're always massive days for us, and we always go up 15 plus units over the weekend. And, you know, some of these days where we go down like 3 or 4 units, it's like nothing to us once we hit, you know, multiple 4-mans, or we start chaining together some of these 2-man, some of these discounts and such. So look out for some more plays later today with these different tacos for free. I'll be sending it out to my Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.